In 1971, a young filmmaker named Steven Allen Spielberg got to direct his first major motion picture with the television movie Duel, and ever since then, he has directed some of the most iconic films in cinema history. And he just so happens to be my favorite director of all time. If you have seen some of my videos, you already know that I am a huge fan of this guy and his work. Well, okay, most of the time. But today I want to talk about something that I've been thinking about over the past few months, and is that I'm worried that Spielberg may be losing a lot of respect from film fans. You see, for a long time, Spielberg was regarded as among one of the greatest filmmakers of all time and a pioneer in modern cinema. And if you remember, for the majority of the 2010s, outside of The Adventures of Tintin, all the films that Spielberg directed around that time were just historical dramas like War Horse, Lincoln, and Bridge of Spies. But everything changed in 2016 when Spielberg released the family film The BFG, based on the Roald Dahl book of the same name. And in my honest opinion, this was the movie that truly tarnished Spielberg's reputation as one of the great filmmakers. While I don't think the movie is bad, it's rather mediocre in my opinion, this certainly felt more childish than any other film Spielberg had directed at that point. It also didn't help that the BFG was a financial flop, barely even making its money back. Luckily though, his next two films, The Post and Ready Player One, were financial successes, even though Ready Player One kind of also damaged Spielberg's reputation. Not as bad as the BFG in my opinion, but still kind of damaged it. Now we move on to his two latest films, his version of West Side Story and The Fabelmans. Now, quality-wise, his version of West Side Story was really great, better than the original, and The Fabelmans, in my opinion, is his best film since Saving Private Ryan. Sadly, though, financially, West Side Story was a bomb, and although The Fabelmans wasn't a bomb, it still underperformed. And I think that's because the distributors released them in very competitive weeks and months. I mean, West Side Story came out around the same time as Spider-Man No Way Home, so at that point, it never even stood a chance. And Fabelmans came out the same month as Black Panther Wakanda Forever and The Menu. And while it wasn't as bad as West Side Story, Fabelmans would have to go through December where it had to face off against Avatar The Way of Water and Puss in Boots 2, and by that point, yeah, Fabelmans barely even stood a chance as well. Although Fabelmans did keep Spielberg in the public eye for a little longer, after it didn't win any Oscars, it pretty much faded into obscurity and was overshadowed by other films like Oppenheimer. And it's really sad that because of all this, Spielberg has lost a lot of respect from film fans. It's just really sad and depressing to me that nowadays most film fans just don't see Spielberg as the great filmmaker that he is. I am really concerned about his future. I am praying that his next film, Bullet, will do well, or at the very least, Warner Brothers won't release it in a competitive weekend or month, because if they do that and the film flops, then Spielberg is going to continue to lose his credibility as one of the great filmmakers, if he hasn't already. I know this video has been a real downer, but it's just something that I can't stop denying. If Spielberg continues to have flop after flop after flop, then he's just going to lose his credibility as one of the great filmmakers. And that really worries me. Spielberg's my favorite director of all time, so it makes me really sad that he's been having flops lately, and I really want him to get another hit again. And if Bullet becomes a critical and financial success, then I am hoping that Spielberg will once again be revered as one of the great filmmakers in Hollywood history.